What's up, everybody? I'm Devontae,
No, Kiana.
and that is who we are. We're back with another video. The last video that we posted, you guys really loved it. The comments and the feedback was amazing. So we really appreciate y'all for y'all support. It really does mean a lot. It is very encouraging as we go through, the things that we go through. So thank y'all again. In our last video, I gave my testimony concerning the incidents around my wife's accident and just that whole time frame and some of the things that I went through. But I kind of want to go back and kind of give more details concerning some of the struggles that I faced while we were in the ICU. One thing that I didn't mention was, as my wife was progressing in the ICU, she had some uncontrollable movements in her arms. And those movements would cause her to show a bunch of signs of discomfort. I don't know the technical name of it, but those movements of her arm, many times she would hit her arm down, and she would hit the bed, and she would take it to her face and sometimes even scratch her face or hit her face uncontrollably. But you can see the discomfort that was there when she was doing these things. And so seeing my wife in those instances, it really had an effect on me, because at the same time, she couldn't talk. She was nonverbal. So we didn't know, what she was going through. She couldn't tell us, hey, this is hurting or that's hurting. But she would make these faces of just discomfort. And it was just hard to, see my wife in that condition and not be able to do nothing to aid her. We would try to put different gloves on her so that if she was to bring her hand to her face, and it wouldn't be as hard or it wouldn't hurt. It would be some cushion that was there, but many times she would just take off the gloves and still find a way to, bring your hand to your face and just things like that. It was hard to see my wife like that because, again, she showed so much signs of discomfort and that she wasn't at ease. Something else that was hard during the time while we were in the ICU, just not having my son. Growing up, I always said that, I'm gonna be a present father. Like, I'm gonna be around my son. I'm gonna be there with him. Nothing is gonna stop that. And so now when we're faced with, Kiana's accident, I can't have my son. We can't have him because we're in the hospital all day. And he can't even go back there and see her because she's in ICU and he's an infant, only 5-6 months at the time. So that was a very hard struggle for me to face. He's with his grandparents, her parents for the most part, and it's a blessing. I'm glad that they have him because he's receiving the same amount of love that he would receive if he was with us, but he's with them, and I thank God that they're able to keep him for us. But that was something that was really hard because of my upbringing. I always said that I was going to be present with my son, and so now I'm being faced with, even to this day, not having our son. Now we can get him on weekends, but initially I could not have him. I was not raising my child. And that just to say that was hurtful. Just to think about that was hurtful, but my wife is the priority. So I have to tend to her. I'm still able to spend time with my son here and there throughout the week early on through an ICU, but for the most part, he's with his grandparents. And so that was something that was very hard. While we were in ICU, our son wasn't allowed to go back there to see Kiana. She was in critical condition and he was only 5 months. So at the time, they wouldn't even let us bring him back there. So what we would do would bring items of his to her and lay them next to her just so she can, have his scent or have some of his items just so it can be close to her. Something else that bothered me while we were in the ICU was some of the doctors started to use different scare tactics to try to make me hurry up and make a decision to have the trach procedure done for my wife. I thank God for my mom because of her, 20 plus years in ICU. She would tell us different things that the doctors would do, what they would say, how things would happen, and they would happen just like she said that they would happen. And that was one of those things, is them pushing to get the trach procedure done for her. Honestly, just to get it done and get her out of that room and move on to the next. is how we felt about it. While they were pushing for this trach tube so hard, they would not give us an MRI that we were asking for. From the time that we got there, we wanted an MRI to see what was going on in Kiana's brain, what was happening. We just wanted to know more information, and they refused to give it to us. They settled for a CT scan, and they just kept offering us that. And we did get one, but we still wanted an MRI, but they would not give us one. While we were at Memorial Hermann, they did not give us an MRI, but they kept pushing to get the trach procedure done. Before I moved forward with the trach approval, I took the weekend and prayed about it, and God really brought me to a place of peace where I was okay with them having the procedure done. Around October 4th, 2024 is when we got to the IMU. It's still the same hospital. We were just a few doors down from ICU. And at this point, Key had her trach procedure and was progressing pretty good. So she required less level of care. So that's why we moved to the IMU. And at this point, she's still not really opening her eyes too much. Every now and then she would, but even with the uncontrolled movements and the discomfort that we would see in her face, she still wasn't opening her eyes too much. So this is when a therapist tried to have her do more therapy. She was limited because of her limitations, but they would still stretch her legs and her arms and her hand, how to kind of have it open so it's not closed all day. And they would try to sit her up edge of bed just so she wouldn't be laying down all day. Around that same time is when I started our GoFundMe that we have. Now, a GoFundMe is something that I never wanted to do. I said I would never do it because I'm gonna take care of my family. I'm gonna provide for my family. I'm not about to ask somebody for no money. But it was really God bringing me to a place of humility and getting rid of all pride that was in me. It was my family that encouraged me to do it, because at this point, we went from 2-income family making pretty good money to 0 in a matter of days. And we didn't have much money because we were paying off debt, so we didn't have a bunch of cash stacked up, but none of that was my mindset. I wasn't worrying about none of that at the time. My mindset was my wife needs a healing, so that was my focus. I ended up taking time off of work through FMLA, and it was unpaid, so we had a $0 income at the time, and our bills were still there. They were still due. Nothing stopped, but God provided for us. I eventually gave in and made the GoFundMe, and I'm glad that I did, because that was the money that got us through that time. Because again, we had nothing but bills due and no money coming in. And so I thank God for y'all that have supported us and have helped us, because that was very needed and still needed to this day. So we appreciate y'all for that. We left the IMU on October 9th, 2024, exactly 1 month after we arrived in the ICU. Next, we were headed to TIRR Memorial Hermann. Here we are, a new location, new staff, new everything. I had to learn everyone and everything all over again. There were no private rooms like the ICU, so we had to share rooms with different patients and their families. Complete strangers in the same room, only separated by a curtain. Even that was a struggle, especially at night. One of the roommates that we had, due to their specific injuries and their condition, they would have episodes at night where they would scream randomly. And many times that would keep us up at night or wake us up. And so it was very, very hard to get proper rest there. But we had to endure that. This is where we started real therapy at. For the first time, they would stand her up, get her out of the bed, and get her onto the different machines to help her work out. All of this was very new to me. I made sure that I was in all of her therapies. For one, because I don't know these people, and I want to make sure that they know what they're doing and that they're taking good care of my wife. I also wanted to know how to do the things that they were doing so that I can be equipped to help her when we weren't in therapy. I didn't want to just rely on therapy hours and we do therapy and then she's just in bed the rest of the day. No, I wanted to be able to do the things that they were doing. So I sat in all her therapies, her speech therapy, her OT, her PT, everything, all day, every day, to learn and to see who was working with my wife every day. So I was with my wife in all of her therapies, but it was very hard to be in those therapies because looking at my wife struggle the way that she did, it was hard. Nobody wants to see their loved one go through something like this and fighting to get their strength back. Just imagine you and somebody that you love, and just months ago, y'all were out going to movies, going to church, hanging out, having date nights, just living a normal life if you would. And now she's struggling to even hold her head up, she can't talk. She's struggling to move some of her body parts. It's hard to see your loved one like that, but I know I needed to be right there so I can learn as much as I could to end up helping her in the long run. Shortly after getting to TIRR, around October 11th, is when we got another x-ray of her arm. Her arm was still broken, but the fracture started to heal. It may not look like it, but if you look closely, you can see the callus on her bone starting to form and heal. It's amazing how God made the body to heal itself. Despite all of her fractures in her C7, her T1, her T4, and her T5, left rib, her right arm, her right shoulder, and her left shoulder blade, we thank God that we didn't have to get any surgeries. Due to us being in the ICU for so long and her resting all day, her body began to heal itself. It's amazing because when you have those fractures in your arm, if you're moving around a lot, it sometimes would hinder the healing process. But due to her being still for a lot of the time, especially in that right arm, the bone began to form the callus and it began to heal itself in a pretty fast manner, honestly. And it's amazing how God created the body to do that naturally. And we just thank God for him for doing that. Things were very challenging during this time. Even as I went back to look at images and videos from that time, it was hard to even look at some of the videos and pictures that I took. Some of them I will share, but some I won't. Come October 17th, 2024, our son turned 7 months. I got to spend a day with him, just him and I needed that. We had our family schedule implemented, so we had somebody with Kiana all day, every day, all night, every night. I took him to a nice outdoor area, and we just spent the day out there. I tried to do this every month that he turned another month old, because I know how valuable that time is with him, especially in these early months. Shortly after that, I believe it was October 19th, we finally got approval from the doctor to be able to bring Amayas to Kiana so that they can see each other again. They had been separated for over a month at this point due to her being in ICU and him being so young. But eventually they allowed us to bring him back there. It was so precious. It's amazing. The night before Kiana's accident, I had our son and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. This guy would not go to sleep. I couldn't put him to sleep for nothing. I had to wake Kiana up and say, hey babe, can you get him please? Because he just won't stop crying. She got up, she got him, laid right down, and he went right to sleep with her. And I'm just like, wow. But it was amazing that, you got to spend that last night with him right before your accident. And it was just a special thing to me. I'm glad I was able to witness that. At this time, they started to wean her off of the trach tube. This is something that I was actively pushing for, to get her off of the trach, because I didn't believe that she needed it anymore. She had a very strong cough. She didn't have any struggles breathing. So I didn't think she needed that trach anymore. And I wanted it to be removed so that the healing process can start. But I wanted to do it in the proper time and of course with the doctor's orders. So they began to plug the trach so that she can only inhale through her nose and exhale through the trach to kind of strengthen her lungs. Eventually we had some swallow tests performed to see how she does with swallowing. And eventually we were able to get her off of the trach, which is something that I was very excited for. Time goes on and we're in therapy day in and day out. She's very slowly but surely progressing every single day. They will perform a test on her called the Coma Recovery Scale Revised, or the CRSR, which is a neurobehavioral assessment used in evaluating patients with disorders of consciousness, or DOC, following a traumatic brain injury. On these tests, she would score very, very low when we started off. But just as time progressed, she would get a higher score, or sometimes it would go low. But it was always, when we looked at the big picture, it was always a constant progress. So this was letting us know that, she was constantly getting better as time went on. Some of the things that they would do during the CRSR test would be having her try to grab an object, or have her try to write, or brush her hair, or wipe her face with a towel. Things like that, just to try to test to see what all she is able to do. And so as time went on, she started off with really low scores, but as time went on, her scores got higher and higher. So she eventually got to the point to where she scored out of the test, so she didn't need to take those tests anymore. Eventually, Key got to the point to where she can start eating real food now. Now, it wasn't the best of food at this rehab, but I was just glad that we were finally able to upgrade her diet from just being on a peg tube and peg feedings to a soft diet. It was a blessing that she was just able to eat. One memorable thing at TIRR was that they did a family movie night. It was outdoors, and the amazing thing is that before me and my wife got married, she threw a surprise birthday party for me at my mom's house, and it was an outdoor movie. So for us to be able to basically relive that event, it was pretty exciting for me. During that time, like I said, she was asleep majority of the time. She wasn't opening her eyes. So I had her out there, but really it was just me watching the movie. But it was just good to have another date night, if you would, or a movie night together, because it had been a while. Come November 19th, we're still pushing to have an MRI done. We still hadn't had one. The ICU would not let us get one. So we began to push at this rehab for them to let us get one. Eventually, they let us have an MRI, and finally, it began to disclose exactly the things that were going on with my wife. It confirmed that she did not have a stroke, which was a blessing to hear, but it also did confirm that she had a grade 3 diffuse axonal injury, or DAI. DAIs are classified as grade 1, 2, or 3, with 3 being the most severe. DAI is a type of traumatic brain injury that involves widespread damage to the brain axons, which are the long, thread-like parts of nerve cells that transmit electrical signals. The injury typically results from severe acceleration-deceleration forces, such as in a car accident or falls, causing the brain to move within the skull. No one was able to answer what recovery looked like for us. What I kept hearing over and over and over was that because she's young and healthy, she has a good chance of recovery. Now, although that was encouraging and we love to hear that, I needed more facts of, okay, what exactly does that recovery look like? How long will it take? What healings will we see? What's the time frame that we're looking at? But nobody can give us those definite answers, and that just really caused us to have to trust in God even the more, knowing that He is the doctor that is able and going to heal her. We spent our first Thanksgiving together as a family at the rehab. This was something that was really hard for me because we usually would go to her parents and then my parents, and we would travel a lot on Thanksgiving Day. But due to the situation, we weren't able to leave the hospital because she needed the supervision of the doctors and the nurses. For the most part of the day, I spent it just watching movies with her. And again, she really wasn't awake at times, so she would watch some of them with me, but for the most part, it was just me. Eventually, our family came later in the day and they bought some food, and we just began to celebrate Thanksgiving together. They brought our son, and we got to spend our first Thanksgiving together. It wasn't ideal how we would want it to be, but at the same time, we were grateful that my wife was alive and we had the opportunity to even spend that Thanksgiving together. On December 5th, we were discharged from TIRR and moved to the rehab that we're at now. Thank you guys again for tuning in and listening to more of our testimony and our background concerning the incidents around my wife's accident. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can share this testimony with the world and bring a message of hope to all people. And again, we do have a GoFundMe in our description. Thank you guys again.
Thank you so much.